Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. James here as ever. Now today we're going to be going through my ACCA journey, and this is requested by you guys out there. You've been putting in the comments below on other videos you'd like to know a lot more about me, and then also not to do it in 60 seconds. So don't worry, we're going to do it in one take today all the way through, and these are points which I really hope are going to help you in your ACCA journey and that are going to actually help you strive to get to that end goal of qualifying as well. But before we get kicked off, pop down in the comments. I'd love to read them as well. So pause the video where you are currently in your ACCA journey, so that we can actually look back on this in future years to come. So pop down which country you're in, what exam you're doing, and how you're sort of getting on, or if you want any other particular videos doing, that'd be absolutely super. The links are also down there to actually follow me on Instagram and other formats as well to keep in touch. And also, if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. I'll be doing videos every week as well to help you through, all from my experience, and it's completely student-led. So if you put the questions down there, I'm more than happy to answer them, and I reply to every single comment. So first of all, I think we should get kicked off by, I graduated with a first class honours from the University of Lincoln in 2013. So that meant I actually qualified for what is known as the Accelerate scheme as well. So in simple words, all it means is from the actual modules that I did at university and the examinations, they were accredited by ACCA. So I actually got, I think it was in the end, 8 exemptions from it as well. So the only one from the foundation papers I had to do from an external provider was Audit and Assurance. So that's the sort of thing to get kicked off, where if you're actually at university, make sure you're actually finding out if your actual program qualifies for any exemptions. Now, this is one of the key steps and key points I'd make sure you take it, if you've got a pen and paper, note it down. When you actually graduate from university and you're going into the workplace, the thing you've got to do to actually gain those exemptions is you go onto ACCA's website, and again, I can put the link for this in the bottom. You'll actually register as a student, and then you have to pay a fee for each exemption to go through as well. A massive, massive tip that I actually did was my first employer that I actually went to, I actually got it put into my contract that these exemption fees and the registration fee would be paid by the employer upon me signing my contract as well. So that's a massive point, that if you're going for a graduate role, make sure you mention it at the interview as well, so you can get it in a contract and signed as well by them. Really helpful tip on there. But I now actually teach the F papers as well. So I've got the experience of doing them myself at university. I now help people out online as well, as you guys all know, and I currently teach all the F papers at university as well. So I'll be doing follow-up videos to that as well, again, just to help you guys out. So it doesn't matter what position you are in your ACCA journey, there are tips in this video that will definitely help you. If I was starting out, the first couple of foundation papers, the main thing I'd be doing is going over to the ACCA student community, getting in touch online or on my Instagram feed. There's loads of students on there who are all in the same boat. They ping over questions and try and create a community, because you'll follow the same ACCA journey together as well. And if you've got that supporting network around you, it makes a massive difference. So, coming on to, I'm now at work. I'm in my first role. What's my next thing that I need to do in my ACCA journey? Well, I'll be honest, you sort of get that momentum when you're working and you think, first exam, I really want to impress my employer. But my first exam was Audit and Assurance. Now, one of the main things is you'll go into some exams when you're actually studying as well, and there'll be people there who already work in, say, Audit and Assurance. And I hadn't worked or done a single audit at that time, okay? So I'm sat there in class. I actually went to face-to-face tuition at this point, and I'm sat there in the classroom going, oh my word, I just don't understand much of this, okay? And I've got so-and-so at the front who can answer everything, and she's doing very well over there, and she's given a very detailed thing. One of the main things I would say is do not get overwhelmed. If you're in a classroom situation, you haven't got that experience, you've not got that ground knowledge yet, take it in your stride. You're just at different levels, that's all it is. So this is something I try and advocate, especially on the channel, to you guys. The main thing to take away from that paper was I worked on every single detail, going through the actual textbook top to bottom as well, and ping over to my tutor any questions that I had. So when it came to the revision, I was on top of all of the actual syllabus as well, going through past papers. The mistake I made with one of my first actual sort of papers was I didn't do enough past papers in actual preparation for it, and I didn't realise what a difference the work-life balance was going to be as well. So if you actually have a look on my channel, there are numerous videos on there how you can help yourself as well. I used to have to go to college, or well, an external provider, shall we say, on weekends as well and in the week. So this was travelling for an hour and a half, it was breaking up my week that I wasn't used to, and this has a massive impact as well. Just to note as well, I hadn't had much experience in audit or assurance at that time, and I just got a 50 pass on it as well. There are a couple of videos on techniques in the examination that I use that can be the difference between getting a 48, 49 and getting a 50, 51 and passing. It makes a massive difference as well, and it could set you back 3 months. So that's one of the first tips as well. So that led me on to the actual professional papers after that. And I actually quite like these as well. The P1, P2, P3 when I first did it, and now it's broken down into the 2 examinations, but the same sort of formats as well. Now the main thing here was, and to note down if you've got your pen and paper, there is a significant increase in the actual demands now. You're expected to be answering in a strategic fashion and going into more detail. From a workplace situation, when I was actually, just going about my daily life at work, the main thing you can get now is reaching out and getting a mentor as well, or mentors in my case. So you've got that actual initial sort of exposure, doing your first exam, you're getting into the routine. Now you got to go and find people who have done that before. So I'm sure on here, Hamid, Jenna, Mark, Jess, you're all out there. I know you are. I'm happy to mention your names on this because you're absolutely fantastic in guiding me through and actually getting me through the papers. These are people, your mentors. They can be found on LinkedIn or actually in your workplace, who will help you with advice and give you that bit of motivation as well when you're not quite feeling it as well. The next thing to note, getting onto your professional papers, is your work-life balance. This is fundamental for me, I would say. Okay, so again, if you've got any work-life balance sort of hacks that you've got as well, pop them in the comments below. I'd love to read them as well, because this was one of the things that on my ACCA journey I really took a downturn on this, and I'll be honest with you, because it's there to benefit you guys. That I'm very much into my running and exercise and going to the gym and keeping fit and healthy. But when I was doing especially 2 exams at a time, I seemed to find my health seemed to dip off, fitness went off the cliff, and I actually put on quite a few kilograms as well, or stone, shall we say, and I just wasn't right. It was taking over my life. I needed to actually get a better plan as to how I could actually better incorporate it into my life, and speaking to other people about that, and having a chat with your family, how you can get better arrangements, is a really good way of going about it, along with speaking to your mentors as well, just to keep you level-headed. Now, whilst you're actually getting onto the professional papers, and this relates into the strategic or the foundation papers as well, please check your contract as to, if you fail an ACCA exam, what are the implications for you as well. I've had so many horror stories of students messaging me, if I fail 2 exams, James, what am I going to do? I could lose my contract. Okay, this is where you build up your employee to employer relationship going on here, so that you're confident to go talk about it, and if there are any issues as well, it's better to be honest on these things as well. So going away from today, make sure you look at your contract just to see if there are any actual sort of exemptions in there in terms of what if scenarios. Okay, big tip there, I would definitely say. The next thing as well, whilst you're looking at your contract, just came to mind as well, what if you were to leave the firm? Okay, I had loads of queries from students about this, especially from the UK, where you're signed into a contract and you could be potentially moving from location to location, but you're fixed into a studying contract. Now, some contracts actually have a payment in place for you to leave that contract, or sometimes it's the last 12 months of fees. But if you've been going to college face-to-face tuition and actually having revision sessions, that can be a significant amount of money. So please check before you make any decisions. So this is going on to now the actual strategic, and then we're going on to the option papers. This is where you need to get better at deciding which, if you're going to do one at a time or two at a time, I would say. I did two at a time, okay, and I did the actual financial reporting one, which is P2 on there in old terms anyway. And then I picked advanced taxation as well. Now, for me personally, they are two massive modules in terms of it. And I'll be honest with you, I passed P2, the corporate reporting, but I did fail the advanced taxation as well. I was absolutely gutting. It was the first one I actually failed, and it's one of those things that you sort of hit home in terms of it as to, gosh, I wasn't expecting that. I thought I gave it my all, but I had the wrong strategy in place. So this is why, being honest again with you guys who listen to my channel, the reason why I actually set the channel up. I seem to find online and stuff on those lines where and be students who are just pitch perfect and they'd passed everything, and you know, they were looking quite happy and rosy, and I was sort of finding myself working all these hours because I had to, because that's working, and then you know, having to do the actual evening classes or evening tuition as well. So that's why I really set up the channel, for all these little tips and little hacks as well that are all going to benefit you guys out there, and I really hope they do. So again, feel free to pop in the comments below if you've benefited from them as well, because that is fantastic for me to hear. As long as it helps people, that's the main USP of the channel in my eyes anyway. So the next thing after that was, in my actual journey, was that there was a change in the actual contract where I was going to face-to-face tuition, which I thought was quite good, but then there was a change as to, well, you could go in midweek, James, so you had a day or a couple of days out the office, to you actually had to go on the weekends now, so on my Saturday and Sundays. So think of it like this, you're going Monday to Friday, working in the office, and then Saturday and Sunday going to college, to then coming back Monday to Friday the next week to do work again. This is a massive challenge, and I feel for all of you out there who go through it, because it absolutely kills you off sometimes. I think I can't remember how many days in a row now, but I think it worked out to be about 28 days in a row from Monday to Fridays with weekends, and it just built up and built up and built up, where it seemed to take over your life. Now, I agree, it's okay for employers to actually say, if you're going to come work for us Saturday and Sunday, but it's having that support and that structure around you to actually say, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, how am I going to balance it as well around other commitments? That is fundamental as to where am I going to fit in exercise, where am I going to fit in, you know, keeping myself active and healthy, having a social life as well, where there are temptations out there, and also the other commitments of having to revise, do past papers, external reading. It all builds up along with your work commitments. So check out some of the other videos on the channel. They'll definitely help you. I must say, that is the reason why I record them. It's all to benefit you from the mistakes I made. Trying to do too much, getting myself worked up, not keeping in contact with some friends, weight increasing, bad health, you know, all these different things that I think are so overlooked and so undersaid as well. Hence why I'm recording this one all in one go for you guys. So after passing and going through now onto the actual strategic papers, I actually got onto the options on my second attempt for advanced taxation. Different mindsets, sat it in one, and then I passed it. I think I went from having a 30 odd to getting a 64, I think it was, on it. Best feeling ever, but also the most rewarding exam as well. If I'm going to say about the options, picking the actual audit and assurance that I did and the advanced taxation, for me personally, they were the two that every CPD event I've gone to which involves some tax, I always think, gosh, imagine if I didn't actually study that module. I'd be a bit lost now going through a few of these bits and the technical things and how it applies to your life. So thinking about it from that perspective, I'd highly recommend picking advanced taxation, because that is just, if you remember the pro formas, all of the rules, it will definitely help you out if you want to set up your own business one day as well. So then we get on to my actual final exam, which was the advanced audit, and I picked that one because it has other areas that linked into the actual corporate reporting and knowing your standards as well. Plus, quite a lot of my mentors who had only done minimal bits of audit as well said, well, if you're going to go work for an audit firm potentially in the future, I think it's going to be really helpful for you. So I did pick it, and I failed it, which was not a good start in terms of it. And I looked at it and went, oh my gosh, the standard from where I was from doing the foundation paper to doing the option paper is massive. And again, going to college or when you're actually networking and speaking to students online, chat about things and be direct with it as well and bounce ideas off each other. I got the complete wrong end of the stick in terms of technique for that exam. The techniques in all of the exams are completely different for me personally. You've got to have a different mindset going into it, and that's why on the channel as well I'll be doing little clippets, little snippets as to what I would recommend based on my experience. Now this is another thing which I want to actually mention, is also having a supportive network around you as well, because there are people out there who, if you fail an exam like I have done, take it the other way and don't make you feel particularly good about it, I would say. Surround yourself with positive people who say, look James, you've had a little setback, it's okay, this is where you're at, I have full confidence in you. If you do these little changes, little niggles here and there, you'll come back a lot stronger from it and you'll be rewarded for it in the future. And I must say, I've learnt so much from failing those 2 exams, and the experience I now pass on in my actual role as a lecturer, helping you guys out on the channel, because I think if I'd have just breezed it through, then sort of, you learn so much more from failures and then coming back stronger, I would say as well. It makes a massive difference. So if you're out there and you failed exams, whether that be on the foundation or the professional papers, I'm from a background where I wasn't particularly that good at maths or anything on those lines. It's just that working hard and that endeavour will get you through. And again, feel free to ping me a message on Instagram or in the comments below. I respond to absolutely everyone on there, and it's just that little supporting network where you say, Saturday morning, had a long week at work, and you've got to get up and do some advanced audit revision and past papers. Just having that little nudge to say, James is holding me accountable. If I actually don't go and do it, I'm going to go do it, and it's going to help me pass. That makes my day, honestly. Fantastic stuff. Well, that's the sort of overall perspective. That's from the final paper there. I then passed advanced audit. It took me 3 years after finishing university to get all the necessary experience as well. You then go on to your My ACCA account. So on there, it tells you, big tick, smiley face, 14 exams completed, all of your other ethics and experience signed off by your work, and then you submit to actually get the actual application through. It then goes off to be reviewed by ACCA. Don't hear back, and you go, oh, please, has it gone through? You get it back, and it's one of the best feelings in the world, I'll be honest. Think it this way, think it through. I just went, all those hours, all those days, all those weeks of trying and dedication have just come down to this one piece of paper which just, takes your breath away in terms of it, and trust me, it is worth it, okay? So this is why I actually have the channel in terms of it as well. It is a marathon, not a sprint. That is the key thing. Surround yourself with the right kind of people, and feel free to check out the other videos on here as to what is going to benefit you. So if you've got any other questions from my actual experiences of going through my actual accelerate plan to going through the foundation papers, professional, strategic, my ups and downs and my roller coaster ones, there are highs in terms of passing exams straight away, but there are lows of failing it and having to mentally prepare yourself to come back stronger. If you found today helpful with my experiences, and it's going to link into the other areas, feel free to subscribe. It'd be great to have you on board. I really hope I can help your journey as well. But as always, on that bombshell, I'll see you next time. Cheers.